Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Tuesday's Talk with Grada. I'm so happy to be with you today, and it's actually my birthday as well. And I want to share with you something that's very close to my heart, but maybe difficult subject to listen to. So I'll make it as light and simple as I can for you. So always around my birthday, I am reminded of the time that I was hit by a truck, because it happened on very close to my birthday. A few days before my 44th birthday, I was hit by a truck in 2006. And I had a near-death experience, which I want to share with you a little bit again today, because I think it's really helpful to talk about this topic. And then, strange enough, 7 years later, in 2013, January, around about my birthday again, I nearly died again from an acute bowel blockage, and I needed life-saving surgery. And in 2008, on my birthday, I had like a psychotic split experience, and I needed to be admitted into a psychiatric hospital, and I spent the whole year with acute mental illness and panic disorder, trying to recover from that. So my birthday, even though I'm super happy to be alive and very, very grateful to be here, and I have a really wonderful life as well that I like to share with everyone else. Inside the cells of my body, it's sometimes a different story, and I start to feel the tension build up before Christmas already. My body starts to go like, oh, something isn't right, or watch out, we're entering this time of your life again. So I am just talking to you about my experiences, because maybe you can relate to it, that there are times in the year that you suddenly don't feel so happy, or suddenly you might feel more anxious, or even paranoid, or you have more pain in your body. And for instance, it could always be the month of May or the month of August or something like that, and you don't know why that's happening. The first thing is, it's always really good to see a pattern, because until you see a pattern, you can't really do anything about it. And so my whole life is, of course, about healing, because I'm a healer. I think that I was a born healer already. I had to go through a lot of pain myself, I guess, the typical classic wounded healer story. And even though I've done more healing, like consciously, than anybody that I know of in my entire world, every year my body still gives me a few nightmares before my birthday, and it's remembering, it's keeping score, right? And I just live with it and continue to do what I'm doing, because I know I'm on the right path. So I guess I have a few messages today, that it's okay. The body is the scorekeeper. It's the truth teller. Our body, and by the way, we are kind of 99.99% subconscious mind, which is our body, which is our body mind, which is slightly different to the conscious mind. That's our thinking mind. The thinking mind is not necessarily the scorekeeper, because the thinking mind is distracted with the outside world. The thinking mind is actually always fighting with the scorekeeper. It's going like, well, why do you feel like that today? Look, the sun is shining, and you've been given flowers for your birthday, and you know how that goes on in your body. Your conscious mind is pretty much always trying to lie to you, or not allowing the deeper truth about your life out. So I just want you to know that's you deserve to have a good life, and you deserve to study your own patterns. And so I gathered from studying my own life for 61 years that probably my own birth was super traumatic, seeing that I nearly died 3 times in my life around my birthday. Or maybe I have guilt in my body that I injured my mom when I was born, because my mom she always relayed all our stories to us, and apparently when I came out, my mom had a 3rd-degree tear, and maybe I punished myself for that. there's so many aspects to healing that we will never know, but it's still really interesting to live your life with awareness. And so, secondly, I want to loosen the idea that death is the end of life, okay? Because I see how much damage this does to people. So, did you know, by the way, that humans are the only organism on our planet, apparently, who know that we're going to die? Apparently, other beings don't live with that consciousness in their mind about their own death. They're not preoccupied with their own death, and they don't have any questions around it, apparently, according to scientists. But because humans are so worried about death, it's like shrouded in mystery. It's our number one fear that is shared with all other fellow humans. There are, of course, people who've had near-death experiences like I have, and they've come back and with greatly reduced fear of death. So I want to talk about this today because the fear of death is probably actually the number one chemistry in your body that kills you, ironically. This is the irony of it. And I work with many people who, who've had serious health challenges. I've been seriously challenged myself. I've lived at the brink of death, periods of time. And I actually want you to know that when people get a cancer diagnosis, or they're dying, or people have had a serious accident, it's suddenly it's like a light switch goes on in your body. So I'll talk from my own experience then. A light switch goes on in your body. When I got hit by a truck and I had a near-death experience, I never felt more alive. I never felt more at one. I never felt more at peace. I never felt more happy. Because I never felt more whole. I was fully connected to the universe. And by the way, the universe is simply a sea or an ocean of infinite connectedness, infinite consciousness. And so there was no separation between me and the universe. And this is what most people experience when they allow themselves to surrender into the process, into the process of getting ready for dying and so on. And there was actually a lady who said, when I live like I'm dying, I am truly living. When I live like I am dying, I feel that I am truly living. So I think that's the secret. So it seems to be all inside out and upside down in our consciousness here, in our thinking mind, right? So today, I don't just want to talk about this. I want to give you an experience where you connect with your higher self, connect with awareness, so that you get to experience what it's actually like when you pass over, right? I've been with people who were passing over, like I was with my parents when they died, and I was with a friend this year when she died as well. And it does, I have to admit, it does look ugly and traumatic for me. It was traumatic for me watching these loved ones in their death throes. But I want you to know that for the person who is dying, it's not traumatic like that, because their spirit has already left the body. Their consciousness is not in the body anymore. It's just the body doing its last thing. So you can't identify that with like, oh, that's the person is experiencing hell at the moment, because that's not the case, right? I just want to reassure you that for you it's hard, but for the person inside the body, leaving the body, it's like a liberating feeling. And then these people haven't gone anywhere. Our loved ones, when they pass over, they haven't gone anywhere. They haven't vanished into thin air. So that I want to reassure you with that again. When I left my body and had a near-death experience, I was still there. I could see the truck driving up the road. I could see my body. I wanted to be near my children and Peter. So what is real about this is that the power of love overcomes time, distance, and everything else that separates us at the moment. So And the whole universe, by the way, is kept in order, keeps ticking over by the power of unconditional love, and we are part of that. But just to get back to personal level again, when your loved one dies, your loved one wants to be with you, and your loved one is with you. For many, many years before I became more aware, but I was working as a healer, whatever, 15 years ago. So when I first started to work as a healer, for many, many years, I used to get these messages when I was in my treatment room, like, I feel ignored, I feel ignored, I feel ignored. And I didn't know what it meant. I had it with every client, till I worked out that it's the spirits of the beings, the spirits of my clients' loved ones who are surrounding my client. And so that is, if you're listening to me, you are surrounded by your loved ones who've already passed over. Some of those people are your ancestors that you never met, but you know, they know you, and they're invested in you, they're committed in you. And the loved ones that you do know, they don't want to be ignored, right? If, for instance, if your mom died and she's gone, she doesn't want you to ignore her. She wants you to think of her, talk to her, listen to her, sing to her, whatever. It's you don't want to be ignored. If you have a good friend and your friend never contacts you, or your child gives you the cold shoulder, that's hurtful. So this is actually the same with our loved ones when they died. So I just want to I felt the need today, I need to talk about this and normalize the whole relationship we have with dying, and just remember that if death happens in our life, that happens for us, it's not something that happens to us. When we think about death and we're scared, we give our power away and we become victims, and then we forget that we are really meant to be creators. We came into this world with creator spirits, like we came into our body, I should say, as a spark of the divine, with creative powers to create our own life and create our own destiny, not to be programmed by outside powers who have hijacked us, because we are hijackable because of our fear of death, right? And then we give our power away. We give our power away to the doctor, we give our power away to the government, to our whatever, to our spouse sometimes, to your mom and dad, to other people who might have plans for our life. And this is all caused by the fear of death, because ultimately every single fear that we have ever experienced and repressed eventually turns into the fear of death. So that's how you can tell that it builds up tension in our body. And I felt called today to talk to you and what's the word, ease that stress if you're listening today. And I know there are some people who are not fearful of death at all. I know some people who say, I'm not scared, but that's another feeling. They're in denial about it. This is just about giving you a better relationship with something that's happening to all of us. And inside our body, of course, the same process happens, because every cell of our body dies all the time, and it's replaced by new cells. Imagine if your liver cells decided, no, I refuse to die, that would actually kill you, right? Because every 6 weeks you have a completely new liver. So Bruce Lipton, who's a really famous biologist, scientist, he wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. So he had a really, really great example that I love to share. So he says every cell of our body has little receptor sites, and it's like being a television. So the television receives broadcasts, right? Programs and thought forms and all the rest, the movie, and then it displays it on the screen. So our cells do the same, and our bodies literally do the same, because we are literally like a receiving station and a sending station. And he says when the television breaks down and it stops, it's finished, that doesn't mean that the broadcast is finished, right? So you just go and get a new television, turn it on, and you've got your broadcast back again. So the same happens with us. In essence, we are spirit, We are 99.999% spirit, and the broadcast continues after the moment of death as well. I mean, some people you can then think maybe it goes into a new embryo, but now nobody knows what happens for sure after that. So I want to share with you just a little activity that might only take 5 minutes, where I allow you to tap into your true essence, which is also called awareness. So behind your thinking mind is not the real you, okay? That's just the television or the computer. Behind it is pure awareness, which is the real you. And so the more often you practice connecting with awareness and allowing awareness to get into the driver's seat and your thinking mind in the back seat, the easier your life is. You're open, you're connected to the universe, you're connected with your real self, your fear of death isn't existing anymore because you know that's just an illusion. You can connect, you see the unity and the oneness with everyone, and your life just starts to flow and you start to operate from creator mode rather than victim mode. Because actually Bruce Lipton says the cells in our body only have two programs, a survival program or growth program. And if you're always running in survival program, of course you can't grow and you can't enjoy life and things don't flow, and eventually you get sick because you burn out. And the other program is being in growth. Our soul loves to grow and expand. Just think of the sun when it comes up and it starts to radiate and, you know, shares its warmth with all of us. So that's what happens when you put awareness in the driver's seat and put your survival brain in the back seat. So I'm just going to do a little practice with you now, and you can go. Don't do this when you're driving, okay, because you need to be alert on the road. But if you're in a safe spot right now, in a safe room, I'm going to just invite you to close your eyes and allow your inner world to come forward. Your outer world just fades away. And just take your attention into the back of your head, where it feels very, very spacious. It's almost as if the back of your head is open. There's like a door there, and it opens up. As you step out through that door, you're connected to this ocean of awareness, of consciousness, of infinite intelligence. It's all around you and you're part of it. And it's like you're free. For a moment, you just stepped out of your earth suit, out of your nervous system. As you're doing this and you're breathing into your body and you're feeling very grounded, you feel your bottom on the chair and your feet on the floor, and you're feeling the connection, the groundedness of Mother Earth. And you've got your attention firmly towards the back of your body. I want you to imagine your higher self, your spirit self, that's always there. It's indestructible. But just for now, think of it as your higher self. I want you to allow your higher self to come forward. So if it's at the back, or at the side, or above you, or below you, or in the corner of the room, just allow your higher self to step forward, right in front of you, where you can meet it. Just say hello to your higher self. And just allow eye contact. Allow your higher self to look into your eyes. And you look into the eyes of your higher self, looking into your own soul. Just using your imagination to do that now. Do you feel a transfer of energy? Just allow your higher self to take up a little bit more space in your earth suit today. Bringing awareness into the frontal lobes of your brain. imagine you're a car and you're in a luxury car, like with leather seats, and you know, it looks like a car from an expensive car in an expensive movie, and it's all pretty glitzy and fancy. And just allow your higher self to hold behind the steering wheel and take the passenger seat in the front as well, and allow your thinking mind to go way, way back in the boot somewhere. Maybe it's a limousine and it's taking the very, very last seat. If it's a limousine, just fill the whole limousine up with your awareness. Enjoy that sense of expansion. And the funny thing about your higher self is that it's always having so much fun. It's reminding you of how much fun life is and how light it is and enjoyable. And you're here to enjoy yourself. You're here for growth and expansion and exploration and curiosity, and create wonderful things, to have wonderful thoughts. And just from this safe spot where you are now in this very expanded place, you can imagine at the point of death, which is just a passing over into the same existence really, but without your body, without your nervous system, without the confines of your earth suit. Who's going to meet you? Who's the first person that you see? And just allow your higher self to give you that answer, because your higher self knows that already. Could be your mom, it could be your dad, could be a child that you've lost, or a partner, a boyfriend, a good friend. Could be somebody completely unexpected that you would never have thought of. So just allow this person, this being, to walk up to you and to say hello and embrace you, or maybe you want to keep this person just at an arm's length distance. And this person is also reminding you that you're here to increase your joy and your love and have fun and be creative. And that person is reminding you how powerful you are and brilliant and smart and wanted, and your life is not an accident. Your life matters. And if there are any other messages your higher self and this other person, or maybe there's a whole group of people, want to convey to you, just allow that to stream into your body. Allow the whole limousine to be filled up with that knowledge, that information. And then it's simply wonderful space as well to sit in the stillness, in the company of all your loved ones. And if you feel like it, you can, if you're watching the replay later, you can stop the video now and just invite more people to come forward. But for now, we have to get back into the room. So still keeping your higher awareness in the frontal lobes, in your head, in behind your eyes, and keeping the thinking mind in the back seat, you can open your eyes and come back in the present moment. And so I want you to know that from moment to moment, you have a choice, like it's a fork in the road every moment. You have a choice to be in awareness or to be stuck in your thinking mind, right? And the more often you invite awareness or higher consciousness or infinite consciousness into the present moment, into the moment of now, the more blessed and fulfilled and happy and joyful and light your life will be, regardless of your circumstances. Because the funny thing is, when I got hit by a truck and then I had a near-death experience. This all happened so quickly. Then I decided I wanted to go back into my body, even though I could see that it was all smashed up. And so I went back into my body, which was lying on the ground on the hot tarmac. And of course I was in a lot of pain. And then I became aware, so the awareness showed me that my eyeballs were rolled in the back of my head, right? And I was also conscious that my children, who were all home at the time, some of my kids were already on the accident scene. And so my higher self actually made a joke and said, well, that looks messy, you know, that doesn't look very pretty. Put your eyeballs back where they belong, right? And I even had a little giggle to myself, not that I was giggling, but my innermost being was still having fun and feeling lighthearted at the moment of death, right? So I want you to know this is meeting the real self, the real you, because true awareness is never harmed by anything, not even a truck, not by all the terrible things that happen to people, you know, with the many terrible things happen to people around us. But I want you to know that your true essence, your true self continues on. It's not harmed by anything. It has that connection to source that's unshakable. But having said that, you know, what happened with me, I've written books about it, by the way, which if you're interested, you can read how I continued my story of recovery. It was very, very difficult because over time, my consciousness shrank again. Because, you know, so there are lots of pressures. Everyone has pressures. I had a lot of pain that causes you to shrink. I want you to know that everyone who has pain in their body, automatically your awareness shrinks. So I had to work with that and overcome that to still be able to come from a place of awareness. And we had money pressures. We were in financial dire straits. I had 6 children who I felt needed me. The youngest was 12, I think, and the eldest was 24, something like that. And of course, you know, Peter was, anyway, huge amount of stresses. And so over time I did shrink and allowed the external world to eat into my internal world. And so that's why 2 years after the accident I started to suffer from severe mental illness, because my mind was broken. And having a broken mind takes just as much time and effort to heal as having a broken body, maybe even more so, because when your mind is broken, you can't even use your mind to recover, right? Because it's just running amok. So I had to, that's what I wrote about in my second book, that's called The Underbelly. Anyway, eventually I made it, because I'm sitting here teaching you, well, sharing you, not really teaching anything, I'm sharing about my experiences, because I want you to remember who you are, that you're here to be a creator. So you're here because you're a being of light, and for you to shine your light and celebrate your life. And if you're fearful of death, just listen to this video again, and maybe that helps you to live with more freedom in your body. And it's good for your immune system as well. When there is less fear in your body, your cells can thrive, and then you can recover. So anyway, I hope you find this helpful. This is my special birthday message for you today. Hope you enjoy your day. Every day is like a birthday anyway for everyone. And I look forward to being with you again next week. Big love for me. See you next week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.